Okay, am I live? Yes, looks like I'm live. Welcome everyone. How's everyone doing? Uh, let's see. So to get to the point, we're going to be having the next Lunatic Patrol watch party tonight. We'll be watching episode 6. Yes, this is the 5th Lunatic Patrol party, but we watched episodes 4 and 5 at the last party. So tonight we will be watching episode 6, and if you would have barely enough time. If you haven't seen the show so far, you could get caught up by the time we have our party tonight. The party starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. And for anyone who is new to these parties and doesn't want to go watch the 5 episodes leading up to where we are, we would be happy to either play the recaps from earlier episodes, or maybe we can just give you a recap so that you can get caught up enough to enjoy the show. Hi, Lapine. Glad to hear that you're doing good. You got your stimulus. Okay, excellent. Yeah, I'm having a great day. I'm in an obscenely good mood today. So I think tonight's going to be an excellent party. Did I have anything else to say about that before? Yeah, and I'm not sure if I'm going to stay on long or not. I just needed to get the announcement out there, but I'm also not in any rush to disappear immediately. So if anyone wants to write comments or questions, I'll respond in a minute. I'm just going to try to wrap up anything else I needed to say about the party. Let's see. So for anyone new to this, we're watching Doom Patrol because it's an excellent show, but also it brings up a lot of topics of philosophy, psychology, magic, the nature of reality. So far, it's been fantastic for inspiring, really interesting conversations after. The watch parties, whether we're watching movies or whether it's just a Zoom party where we just talk, we've had a couple of those. The parties typically last between 4 and 7 hours. People are free to join at any point. The link is in the description. If you're shy or having social anxiety or anything, feel free to leave your camera and mic turned off. Otherwise, if you want to participate, or if you're halfway shy so that you want to talk but you want to leave your camera off, that's fine. Some people just leave them off completely, or also there's the text chat. So while the show's playing, nobody talks, but we do write comments and stuff in the text chat. And if anyone's too shy to speak, you can leave your mic off and you can communicate in text. I think that wraps up everything to do with the party tonight. Hey, James, good to see you, and great that you'll be there tonight. So did I explain enough, or are there any details I'm missing that I need to state for anyone who's new to these parties? Let's see, what else should I say? The parties don't stream anywhere, and while we one day might record parts of parties like that and post things on the channel, so far we haven't, and unless we say otherwise, the parties, I consider them sort of a group therapy session, and so what's said in the party, everyone there keeps that among that group of people, and nothing you say there will be talked about on the channel. Or perhaps, I might bring up something somebody said, but if it was, I would leave out anything of a personal nature. I might just say at one party, somebody brought this up. So I might talk about ideas that way. But the parties are both like a social event, so we can have some social interaction during quarantine, but also sort of a discussion group mixed in even with almost a therapy group. There's a therapy element to it, where if someone's going through something and wants to talk about it. Yeah, James is saying I summed it up nicely. Lapine says, I don't really watch shows or movies anymore. My life gives me enough adventure now. Excellent. Well, feel free to stop by then to the party later in the night. I don't know if we'll watch 1 or 2 episodes, but if you show up 2 hours into the party, at that point, we will just be talking for sure. Or sometimes we play little clips of lectures if someone brings something up, or sometimes we'll all listen to a song together and then chat more. But and that goes out not just to Lapine, but if anyone's watching this and thinking, I'd like to go to the parties, but I don't give a shit about Doom Patrol, that's perfectly fine. Show up after the show ends, and you won't mind any spoilers in the discussion. And I'm sure if you find this channel interesting, you'll find the discussions interesting. All right, so I think I have everything that needs to be said about that. I'm content to wrap this up now and go get ready for the party tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm in a fantastic mood today. It's been a couple days since we've done one of these parties, so I'm looking forward to seeing people again. On the other hand, I don't need to rush right off. So if anyone now wants to talk about absolutely anything at all, if somebody watching wants to share how their day's going, if someone has a question, or if anybody out there is having the opposite of the kind of day I'm having, let me know. Because another thing I do here at the channel is I try to make myself available to community members who are struggling. And I know for some people, the current situation's very difficult. So anyone who's having a difficult time at the moment, depression, mental illness, or even if you're in no way mentally ill or depressed, but need someone to talk to about things going on right now, join our Discord. I don't have a link right now. You'll have to watch for one in the future. But people can reach out to me directly at Discord. And so Kathika the White says, good to see you. Says, Merc, how do you join the party? So to join the party, all you have to do is click on the Zoom link. It won't do anything until 9 o'clock, but from 9 o'clock on, when you click on the Zoom link, it will do one of two things. It will either put you into a waiting room and tell you that the host has to let you in, or you will just get put directly into the party. And you'll see buttons in the corner to turn your mic and camera on if you want to. Otherwise, you can leave them off. Shane is the one running the party for me. I'm horrible with computers. I can't handle any of this shit. So Shane's the one who's setting up the links and hosting it. I'm not sure if he'll have it set so that there's a waiting room or if you'll get right in. Oh, and also, because at a couple times people have tried to join and the link hasn't worked. I don't know why. The links have worked for the majority of people, I believe, but some people have had trouble with the links. If you find that you can't get into the party, send Shane a message. I think he's happy to have people send him friends requests on Facebook who are part of the community. And for anyone who doesn't know, Shane and Nolan recently joined the team. And so Shane's the technical assistance for the party. And if you don't have him on Facebook, if you're part of Discord, you can send Shane a direct message through Discord if you can't get in. And Shane and I will try to remember, if he doesn't remember, I'll try to remind him to check his Discord now and then. Okay, and so Kathika the White says, okay, thanks. Where can I find the link? The link should be in the description of the video right now. I did put it in, although YouTube's very glitchy today. Analytics isn't working properly. So if the link isn't showing up in the description now, I'll fix that when I get off this stream. But you should be able to see the link when you hit show more in the description. And every party is a different link. And I always announce them this way. Sometimes I stick around and talk for a while, or sometimes I just do a 1-minute announcement like this to say what it is that we're watching and what time. Also, I think in the future, if it's just hangout parties where we're talking, or when we move on to watching other movies or doing other things at parties, the time will vary. But me and Shane decided that with these Lunatic Patrol parties, specifically where we're watching Doom Patrol, because we intend to go right through the entire season. There's 15 episodes, and tonight we're on number 6. We've really liked the people who have been showing up. There's been a little core group of people who've either been at every single one so far or they've been at the majority of them. And we thought that since 9 o'clock is the time that has worked out for these group of people so far, um, unless anything I'm not expecting happens, we'll do all the rest of the Doom Patrol watch parties will always be at 9 o'clock so that the same core group of people can attend. But in the future, perhaps we'll do some sort of Zoom party, whether we watch a movie and discuss it, or whether it's just a hangout for people to talk, or maybe we'll have nights where there's a certain subject we're going to discuss, or we could watch part of a lecture and discuss it afterwards. In the future, we'll try to vary the time more. Maybe there will be times where we can do one earlier in the afternoon for people in different time zones. And maybe there will be other times where we'll have one that starts at 12 or 1 in the morning and goes right till 5 in the morning at some point for people in different time zones. But since we did most, if not all, of the Doom Patrol ones so far at 9, and Shane and I have really enjoyed the core group of people who've been at it, we're sticking with 9 o'clock for these ones. All right, so I'm caught up with chat. Anyone else have anything completely unrelated they feel like talking about? Let's see, what could I fill you in on? I had a very nice morning so far. And my dad came over and fixed my water pump for me. I haven't had running water for almost 2 days now. So that's very nice to have running water. I'm looking forward to going and taking a shower after I finish this stream. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody like 2 days ago, and we were discussing how powerful gratitude is. And we were both saying how, for most people, and again, some people have it worse than this baseline I'm going to give, but for most people, if you're watching me on the internet, you probably have this baseline. No matter what else is going wrong in our lives, except for the rare occasion where there's some problem or the power goes out, I can always focus on gratitude for electricity and running water when I've got it. And me and someone were talking about that quite a bit 2 days ago. And a couple hours later, I went to use my water and it was all fucked up and then just kicked right out. And so I thought that was an example of God's sense of humor, that I was just discussing the benefit of losing power or losing your water now and then so that you're reminded how much to appreciate it when you have it. And then I lost my water for 2 days. James says, glad to hear you've been having a good day. Thanks, James. And yeah, I've been feeling fantastic lately. The past, I don't know how many days now. For a few days now, I've been feeling great. Like you and anyone else who's been watching my Lunatic lives over the winter know, throughout the winter, it was just every day was waking up in a really terrible state and having to work on the mindfulness from the moment I opened my eyes and working myself into a better place. Past couple days have been the exact opposite. Just from the moment I wake up, I have been in such a great mood. Things are going very well lately. And Lapine says, you don't realize how much of a miracle stuff like running water, especially if the hot variety is, until it's gone. Yes, absolutely. And I know, Lapine, you're newer, so you may not have heard this story. James probably has, but I was giving examples of like when Peterson talks about how, like when you're depressed, it's so hard to motivate yourselves, and all those little things that you don't take care of build up. And I had actually had, for about 2 years, I had needed, something was wrong with the hot water, where for the first year, it was just gradually, there was less and less hot water in the shower. It was fine down in the kitchen, but up in the bathroom, it just got less and less until it got to where it wasn't quite like running pure cold water. It was as if you had the cold on full and you turned the hot on just enough that you barely noticed the water was not quite as cold. It got to that point, and I still went through a whole fucking winter with nothing but cold showers, and not in the Wim Hof way. Like sometimes I love cold showers in that whole Wim Hof way, But it was in the winter, I get depressed. I was not enjoying it at all. Every shower was just miserably cold. Especially this is like a really old house full of so it's not that warm in the winter, even with the fire going full. And I knew the entire time all I had to do was tell my fucking dad that that problem was there. He'd come over, look at it with me. But the fact, and again, it's like Peterson says, when your car stops, it's not just whatever's wrong with the car. At first, it's this whole mess of snakes that you don't even know what's there. So the fact that I didn't know what it would take to fix the shower meant that possibility that it wasn't something just that me and my dad could do together, that plumbers would have to come in and rip shit up. And I don't like letting people into my sanctuary. That would cause a lot of anxiety. So I put off for a whole fucking year dealing with the shower. And it was not the winter that's just ending, but the winter before. I think shortly before taking over the channel from Andrew, that I finally pulled myself together and said to my dad, like, oh, the water's been too cold for too long. We've got to get this fixed. And when I finally did, my dad was able to go get a part that cost fucking like $17. And we were able to swap it out in like half an hour. And fuck, for the rest of that winter, every single hot shower after an entire winter of cold showers and not enjoying it. I could enjoy the cold showers in the summer, but that entire first winter of having hot water again just felt so fucking luxurious. Yeah, a lot of people have no idea what a blessing electricity and running water, especially when you have the choice of hot and cold, is. And Kathica the White says, yes, happy you had a good day, Merc. Every time I see your name now, I think of myself as Black the White. Lapine says, I'm semi-lucky in that as a child, we were constantly going without things like that due to poverty. So I got to have that as a leg up. That's beautiful that you can see the gift of those hardships in retrospect. And Kanthica, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, sorry, says, no electricity and no water is pretty bad to go through. Yeah, but even then, there's things to be grateful for. Yeah, and Lapine makes an excellent point. A large portion of the world today and throughout most of history, that stuff would have been considered magic. Oh, yeah, especially like the hot and cold running water and electricity hidden in the walls and what we can plug into it and what we can do with that electricity. Lapine says it sounds like I was describing a burned out element in the heater. That was also what my dad thought when at first, but when we went and took a look, no, it was a problem in the the valve at the shower where it wasn't opening up properly, so that it was only letting the cold water in, and the hot water was getting blocked at that point. So we just had to remove the shower handle and replace the valve in there. And Kanthica the White says it's nice to have a fire. Yeah, that's one nice thing about this place is it's a wood stove heating. So even if I lose power in the winter, I've still got fire to keep the house warm. And while sometimes it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, especially like winter mornings when I'm really depressed in February, I don't like heading out and carrying the wood in. But other than that, I like the more primal way of heating, to have an actual fire going through the winter. I like interacting with, the magical element of fire and to keep a fire going throughout the winter. So it's worth the effort. Okay, Lapine says, do you sit with him and let him teach you how to fix those things like he knows? I hope so. It's pretty important. No, I'm awful for that. When, like, whether it's doing a home repair or, fixing an engine or something, my mind does not enjoy that handy aspect. And so when my dad fixes something with me, I'm like a kid where I help by just handing him what he needs. And I watch what he's doing, but it doesn't stick. Even if I pay attention on how to fix something in an engine, I find that info doesn't stick well with me. So no, I don't take full advantage of what I could learn from him. Kem, good to see you. Says, hey man, my cyclical, judgmental, and bad sides are resurfacing during these times. Do you have any advice to keep myself motivated to love and act morally? Okay, excellent question. I'm going to see what I can come up with right now, but also, like if this is something you're dealing with lately and you want to have a more in-depth discussion with me, we could maybe set up to record a podcast sometime, because I think what you're going through, probably a lot of people are. And so if someone wants to talk to me about shit they're going through and they're comfortable with recording it, and when we record it, there's always no pressure. If it gets too personal or anything, we would scrap posting it. But if you think you might be comfortable posting a conversation with me, we can record it and decide after. But I think that's a great topic to discuss in depth, and would be great content for the channel. However, if you just don't want to be on the channel at all, but you do want to have an in-depth discussion with me, I'm also making myself available for private sessions. So feel free to write to me directly on Discord, or feel free to write into the channel if you would like to come on and discuss that sometime. But now, with that being said, let's see if I can come up with anything for you to think about in the meantime. So, my cynical, judgmental, and bad sides are resurfacing during these times. First of all, excellent mindfulness. It's good that you're aware of that. That can happen to someone without them being mindful at all. And then you sort of go into a denial that you're doing that at all. You project it outward in the world and say, I'm not being judgmental or cynical. The world fucking objectively sucks, and I'm just being accurate. And then you get pulled in and you're run by that. So, first of all, excellent that you were mindful of it. Also, your question's beautiful because you're asking for advice on how to keep yourself motivated to love and act morally. So not only are you mindful of that, but you're already making the choice that you don't want to build on that and go with it. You've found a deeper perspective outside of those judgmental, cynical emotions. And from that deeper perspective, you want to make a choice to experience something different. That's beautiful. Okay, and you said it would be a great pleasure if we recorded it with audio only, since I would be uncomfortable talking about these things on video. Absolutely. We can do it. We could do it where I'm on video, and on your screen it could just be an image. And you could pick the image yourself as well, so people just hear us. So that would be great. Fantastic. Yeah, write into us and we'll set that up. And also no pressure. Like I prefer not to burden our volunteers with editing if we don't need to. But if just one part needs to get removed, we can do that. Or also, if you want to talk about something personal, we could do that before or after recording. So we could have sort of a personal conversation, and then at a certain point, start recording, or the reverse. We could record first, and at the end, we could turn it off. And if you wanted to go any more personal, we could. But yeah, just going on voice is perfectly fine. And so one thing we'll expand on this when we talk. Um, are you part of the Discord? Um, but anyway, so yeah, because I love this question. Advice on keeping yourself motivated to love and act morally. I have found in my own personal experience, like earlier in the spiritual path, it feels as though when you're feeling cynical, judgmental, it feels as though to act, like to change to a loving mindset and to stick to moral behavior, especially if other people are being immoral. Like if you're in the presence of somebody else acting immoral, it seems like that's a burden being asked of you to remain loving or to remain moral when nobody else is. But my experience has been that when you push past that and you learn those disciplines, the motivation to do it is that it's more pleasant. I much prefer to experience the world lovingly, non judgmentally, and I prefer to act moral now. It wasn't like that for me as a child, but like for anyone who's seen the television show The Good Place, when what's her name? Is it Ellen? Anyway, when the one character's confronted with that issue of why should I act morally, one of the answers the show presented was that it gets rid of that voice in the back of your head that keeps calling you an asshole. And you take a vow of honesty and you do years of working at it to where you get to where you're really as honest as you can be with yourself and others. Then you don't hear anything in the back of your head calling you a fucking liar anymore. Whatever moral issue it is for you that you're feeling, like just whatever it is, think about it for a moment. Imagine you took the route of going with these cynical, judgmental feelings. And imagine you threw all those morals right out the window. How would you feel going to sleep? How would you feel waking up in the moment? Would it really make you feel any better that everyone around you was just as immoral as you were? And how would you feel if you woke up in the middle of the night with chest pain and weren't sure if you were having some heart attack or stroke? How would it feel to think you might die in a couple moments if you were acting immorally? And then take a moment to just imagine, not to burden yourself with actually choosing to act moral, but just to use the power of our imagination, like Ryan and I were talking last time. Imagine for a moment that for the next 5 years, you acted morally, no matter what the situation is. And not that you're claiming to know perfect morality, not that you'll never do anything wrong, but where for the next 5 years, if you do something wrong, it's because you're honestly confused and don't realize why that's wrong. Imagine that for 5 years, every time you were tempted to do something that your little Jiminy Cricket told you not to, that you never once did it. And then think, how are you going to feel falling asleep? How are you going to feel waking up when you're acting morally like that? And if you've been living from a place of love and acting morally for 5 years, and you were to wake up with some strange pain, wouldn't you be less frightened of the possibility of imminent death? And so I find the secrets are, or the secret is that the virtues, and like the true ones, not the weird political shit or what society currently values as proper behavior, but that true soul guided, whether you feel a connection to God, whether you feel, a connection to your higher self, whether just on a psychological bend, you feel like you're reaching the more pure, enlightened consciousness within you. Once you live that way, even if you start thinking that the reason people do that is for the benefit of others, you'll realize it's for their own benefit. In the same way that Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living, and I agree 100% with almost every way of interpreting that simple sentence, a needlessly immoral and corrupt life is not worth living either. And I'm not judgmental of people who are corrupt or acting immorally because they're confused, because they've been overwhelmed by some sort of programming, because they've been damaged by abuse, because they're not in touch with proper guides or the better parts of themselves, or if they've been derailed or tricked by, corrupt, like people who have corrupted them, or whether they've got demons attached to them or whatever, for people who believe in that sort of thing. I'm not judgmental of those people if that's the best they can do. And if they're trying, you have this feeling of wanting to save them from how they're hurting themselves. But if you're living needlessly corrupt or immorally, you have no idea what you're missing. If you could lead a virtuous life, not by other standards, not by what I consider virtuous, but by what your own guardian angel, your own consciousness, your own connection to God tells you is virtuous, it's pleasurable. It's selfish to live that way. And I think that's enough on that for now, because I really want to keep you motivated to actually write into us and actually record a podcast with me on this subject. Because I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that they really enjoy when I have conversations with people. And not that they're saying they don't enjoy my Lunatic Live bullshit, but that they really enjoy when the conversation flows at a certain point. So I'd like to record as much content as I can for the channel, especially during quarantine. Lapine says, takes a lot of knowledge to heat with wood. Yes, dry wood, green wood, different kinds of trees, each having their own properties and raising the heat, lowering the heat, extending the fire time, what time to put in the next wood based on what wood. Yeah, absolutely. To know the difference of the soft wood and the hard wood, what to use to get your fire going, which logs to put in at the end of the night. And there is an art to it as well, because I like to let myself sleep as long as possible, particularly in the winter. I'll sleep for 12 hours some nights in the winter when I'm in my winter tomb, hibernating, or in my phase of death. But I've mastered the art of feeling the fire so that I know when to just burn it right down to coals and get it just low enough that if I pack it with good big pieces of hardwood, it'll burn right through the night. If you don't get it right, even if you turn the stove right all the way down when you load it up, if it's too hot when you load it up, or there's too much coal, it won't burn through the night. It'll burn up too quickly. Yeah. So you're absolutely right about that. There's something about heating with wood, and you have to get a bit more in touch. You get to know your yearly supply of wood, even how dry or wet it is. Yeah, and it puts you in touch with nature. So Kenthika says, remember, a lot of people go through serious bad things and we can't see it or know it at the time. We should all love each other more in life. Absolutely excellent point. Sometimes when we're in a bad mood and we go around acting fucking grumpy and short with people, and we look for excuses to mistreat somebody. So the fucking bag boy squishes your bread, or, like some little thing, and we look for that's our chance to vent something at them. But you never know when that bellboy you're yelling at just lost a friend to an overdose, or what other kind of personal hell some people are going through without showing it on the outside. And that can also be a good motivation to keep yourself in a more loving state so that you're not walking around badly hurting damaged people without knowing it. Okay, Lapine's making an interesting point here. Oh shit, where did that go? Text jumped away. Okay, here it is. So Lapine's responding to Kem. I would say maybe those bad sides have their own points in ways that are actually trying to be moral in their own ways. Just the combined effect of those various different sides fight. Yeah, and you have an excellent point, Lapine, that even when, and I prefer to be much more polarized towards the mercy and loving and understanding side of the polarity, but there's absolutely a place for judgment. There's a place for borders. There's a time when you need to feel angry at some behavior. My personal response to that is to honor whatever valid points my more negative subpersonalities have. Then I will choose to set an actual reasonable border, or I try to. I have a tendency to let people hurt me sometimes because I'm being too understanding and trying to be too strong. And I'm trying to get better with that. But anyway, I will choose a border. Just once you choose that border and you've learned that thing, for me, I really enjoy then forgiving the person, understanding that they're doing their best, trying to see them as an unlightened, damaged, hurt being that doesn't know what they're doing. And then I can maintain the border. I can protect myself from allowing them to hurt me, but I don't need to be judgmental or resentful towards them. In fact, I can pity them. I can love them. I can wish for the best for them and wish that they can find the kind of healing they would need to be the kind of person who can treat others properly. Hey, Patty, great to see you. So you say, I'm grateful for you and your gratitude, my brother. Thank you for your wisdom and commitment to shine and grow and heal. See you later. Thank you so much, Pat. And yeah, I really hope you can make it tonight. I love having you at these parties. So I'm hoping that's what see you later means, that you're going to be there tonight. And Lapine says something like that was the reason I had no motivation to work for a time. Kem says, thank you very much for that great encouragement. I've really been lacking that lately. Okay, then I will join the Discord. I unfortunately am not a part of it yet. I'd love to do that because it is really important to talk about these things, and I feel like you're the perfect person for that. Fantastic. That makes me feel wonderful. Also, like, I am honored that you feel that way. Thank you for that. So yeah, join the Discord. Unfortunately, I'm so fucking computarded, I don't even know how to give you a link. It seems to me like there's something weird with Discord where the links are only work for a little while and then they don't or some shit. So I don't know if anyone here who's in our Discord knows how to post a link. If anyone in the community who's listening right now, or if Nolan or Shane or anyone's here, and you can post a link to our Discord in the chat, I would appreciate it. If not, just watch for anytime Ryan's live, he can give you a link. Or no, fuck, I know what to do. Once this live stream ends, so that you can comment underneath it, write a comment asking for a link. And I'll get Shane or Nolan or Ryan to provide you a link so you can join Discord. And then there you can reach out to me directly as well so we can set up the talk. And Ryan's very busy lately. He can't devote as much time as I can to these kind of sessions. So I doubt Ryan will have time, but it's possible we might be able, or that he might be able to join us briefly if you want. Although for you, or also to say to anyone else, if anyone does ever want to record a podcast with me or wants a private session, it's always an option to do it just with me, if that's what makes you more comfortable. The only thing that's not always an option is to talk to both me and Ryan because he's very busy. But you can also, like whether this is you, Kem, or someone else writing in the future, if you're writing into the channel about either coming on to do like to record a podcast with us for our channel, or if you're someone who wants to invite me onto their channel. Like for instance, I'm working out with Andrea with the Bangs. We're just working out when next week, but we'll be recording a podcast for her channel, and I might be appearing on Elder's channel at some point coming up. So yeah, for both of those, if things keep going the way they are, I think I'm going to have lots of time and energy to devote to the channel. I really intend to. I'm really trying to step in right now. So if you're okay with the possibility that it might just be me, that's great. But also, if you want, whether it's on our channel or having us on your channel, if you'd like to have both me and Ryan, just say that when you write in. And you would either have to possibly wait a long time if you definitely want an appointment with both me and Ryan, or what we can do is we can set up an appointment where guaranteed I will show up and Ryan will see last minute if he can fit it in. Yeah, I think that says enough about all that. And Lapine points out it's hard to talk about complex things in 200 characters. Absolutely. Well, so if you have time tonight, Lapine, join us at the party. Because that's the other thing is for people who don't want to record a podcast with me, or you don't necessarily want like a private session with me that you feel you sort of need an hour or more talking to me one-on-one. But if you just want to hang out and chat a little bit, everyone in this community is welcome to join our Zoom parties anytime. And once the party's over, the link will stop working. I do, a couple people had messaged me before where, talking the next day, and they said, oh shit, I can't believe you went on for 7 hours. I was thinking of clicking the link at 2 a.m., but thought there was no way you'd be there. Some of these parties go for like up to 7 hours is the longest so far. Most of them are over 5. So even if it's been quite a while since the party started and you come across this, if you click on the link and it lets you in, that means we're still going. But I'm really enjoying, because I find it's in between the experience of the private sessions and doing shit like this. So shit like this is very public. Everybody can see it, but I get very little connection to anyone individually. The private sessions, obviously, like I've had sessions where I've talked to people for 3 hours one-on-one. And so obviously very strong connection with the person, but absolutely completely cut off from everyone else. No one else can see it. I like the in-between of these Zoom parties where we usually have somewhere around 10, just under or just over people. And I really like that combination of, because there's a group of people participating and I can, connect and really get to know that group. And then there's usually also some people silently lurking and observing. So there's also still a little bit of that community watching the conversation. So I've been really enjoying the Zoom parties, and the people who've been showing up have all been fantastic. But it would also be great if someone new showed up tonight. I'd love to meet Kenthika or Kem or Lapine tonight, or anyone watching this later. And it won't be Doom Patrol forever. We're going to go through season 1 of Doom Patrol, and then in the future, we'll watch other things. We'll have other movie nights, or we'll have nights that are just hangouts to talk. The Zoom parties are going well. So there will be variations on the theme. All right. Ken's giving us some follow-up. All right. I might have skipped a few people, but that's all right. I think I might be pretty far behind. So I won't try to answer everything anymore. So Kem says, I have this problem that I feel like if I act morally, I will be judged or shamed. It's a horrible feeling mixed with cowardice. Because of that, I just start to act in the cynical people around me are. Oh, it's interesting. So you're not worried about being judged or shamed for acting immorally. With the people you have around you, you feel like if you act morally, you'll be judged or shamed. and I can see that that's a horrible feeling. There, and fuck, I don't know if you're spiritual or not. And I'm fine to work with people either way. If somebody is completely an atheist and you want to talk about things from the psychological perspective, and you just want to hear my thoughts on the mystical, even though you think it's bullshit, I'm fine with that. Or if you're a believer, I'm fine with that. I like to just know what people are. But if you were a believer in any way, I would direct you to what's the quote by Jesus? Just something about to rejoice when you are shamed for his name's sake. That if you act morally and people judge you for that, that you should rejoice in that. As difficult as it is, it results in heavenly reward later. If you can endure that nobly, especially if you could get to the point where you could act morally, allow them to judge and shame you, and then realize that that's because they don't have a proper connection to God. And if rather than hating them for them shaming you, you loved and pitied them and extended love and compassion towards them while they shamed you, that would set you up nicely. Lapine said, could I just drop a link? Okay, so yeah, this must be way back. Lapine was offering to drop a link to Discord before I asked, I think. All right, I'm going to try to just skim through and get caught up. I don't know how far behind I am. Okay, so I won't read everything building up to it, but at a certain point, Kim says, yes, Lapine, exactly. I feel like when I'm starting to act morally, I'm not going to be liked, and my moral guidance compass is horrible. I'm always concerned with not making people happy. Okay. All right, that I think will require us actually talking. Because yes, that's one problem I didn't address. I talked about when you know that your moral compass is working and you're ignoring it. But there's a lot of things that can happen to us throughout life that knock that internal shit out of guidance. The same way as your car, at one point the warning light might turn on when there's actually a problem and be accurate. But eventually the system can get fucked up where you get warning lights when you shouldn't, and you don't get warning lights when you should. But I think in conversation together, we can help. We can work on repairing your own moral guidance and getting you more in touch with the parts of yourself that don't need me to say any of this, with the parts of yourself that will tell me to just shut up. Okay, yeah, we understand all that. We've got this now. Yeah, and Lapine exactly says that's a much more specific problem than the one of motivation. Absolutely, which means you're getting closer to the answer. And Kem says, thank you very much for the idea with the imagination. I really like your way of talking. Very beautiful. Well, thank you. I'm just really grateful it has that effect on you. I don't enjoy the way I talk at all. But a lot of people don't like the sound of their own voice. So I don't rewatch myself. And I've said this before often, but I don't know if you've heard it. Because I don't like to watch myself at all, the way I judge how I'm doing on the channel and correct course is by the feedback instead. Like a lot of the material I have up, I find, or maybe not that I always find it embarrassing, but certain subpersonalities find it embarrassing. In certain moods, I find it embarrassing. In other moods, it doesn't bother me. I don't necessarily like the way I come across on YouTube. parts of me really don't like some of the shit that's up there, but based on the feedback I get from others, I like the way it affects other people. And so I just don't watch myself so that I won't freak myself out and stop doing this. And so it's comments like that that keep me going and direct me. Daniel says, I was hoping that you are online right now. It's good to see you. Yeah, it's great to see you too, Daniel. And yes, I saw your question yesterday. You commented on some video, I think, asking if there was a watch party this week. After I saw that, I got in contact with Shane, and that's when we started setting this one up. So I really hope you can make it tonight. You're one of the core team that I've really enjoyed having at these Doom Patrol parties. Wait, okay. Yes. Sorry, Lapine. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I met you. Wait, but you weren't at a previous hangout. I met you on Grizz's channel, right? Or am I getting confused now? And I will do that sometimes. I get very caught up in the moment, and sometimes I don't access memories properly. Like looking back on it, I would, yeah, and there's a part of me that finds this embarrassing, but I'll just say it. At a recent party, I said something to one person where okay, I don't want to say what it was just because I don't want to reveal something about someone else. But I said someone to something saying, you should really look into this, something along that lines. And then they said something like, well, yes, of course. And then it kicked in that we discussed that subject before, like to the point where I just recently bought a book on that subject at that person's recommendation. And once they said it, all of that clicked in for me. But for a moment, I had lost access to those memories of that person. So in the moment that I was speaking, I had forgotten that I'd forgotten how we met. But also now I'm wondering, is that correct? Did I meet you on Grizz's D Live? No, not at all. Now I get it. You were at the very first party, invited by somebody. Okay. Yeah, I've got it all now. And am I forgetting you having been at further parties, or were you only at the first party? Also, there was something I wanted to say to you about something you wrote on Discord recently. I'm not going to say it to you here because I consider what people write on Discord that they're speaking to that audience. But if you do turn up at a party, because the party's the same audience, I have feedback for you on something you wrote in Discord. And you're saying you just don't want to watch anything, you just want to talk to people about interesting ideas. So yeah, absolutely. So for any time it's a watch party where we're going to watch a movie or a TV show, we always do that at the beginning and then talk afterwards. So tonight, just wait. Don't show up until 10. I don't know if we'll watch one or two episodes, but if you click back in and we're watching the second episode, each episode's 45 minutes. So if we watch one, it's 45 minutes. If we watch two, it's an hour and a half. But I would say by like 10:30 or 11, we will be absolutely done watching shit and we'll just be in the talking phase. So feel free to just always join parties after we finish watching. And I think that's great. Like I love all sorts of media. I love movies, TV shows, books, comics. I love immersing myself in the imaginative realm in so many ways. But I think it's great that you say, I watch precious few things, very special things. Most of my time is spent working on my dreams or myself so I can work on my dream. I have my orientation. I think that's fantastic. And I enjoy both having similarities with people and differences. So I enjoy being like a movie buff that devours that media and spending time with people who almost never watch movies. And Kenthika points out Very rightly, love is the law, guys. Okay, how far behind am I? Oh, wow, I'm really far behind. Okay, I'm going to try to just skim down again if I can. Oh, okay, and Lapine says, as a person who had to spend 3 years of training my voice for specific reasons, which I think I know what you mean, I know how to beat that not liking your own voice thing. The answer is to burn it out with exposure. If I'm thinking the same thing that you mean there, you did very well training your voice. At the first party, I had no idea that you would have needed to work to train your voice. You have a lovely speaking voice. I'll just say that. Kem says, I can't express how grateful I am for people like you and Ryan. You guys are doing really meaningful work. Thank you. And yes, it feels really meaningful. It's like fun seems an inadequate word. I'm tired of repeating meaningful. And there is an element of it's pleasant to do very meaningful work. I don't know. Some sort of great word I can't think of. Okay, and so Lapine says this. Yeah, I was the girl. Yeah, I completely remember all of it now. Well, sort of a girl. At least you all used female pronouns, which was nice. Yeah, and so since you addressed that, yeah, absolutely. When you were at the party, I used female pronouns with you because that just seemed natural, and I didn't have any question. Like I didn't wonder in my mind whatsoever. So I'm glad we're using the correct pronouns, and that was absolutely the way you came across. And like I said, a lovely speaking voice. And yeah, sometimes I fall behind because I just start rambling quite a bit. So Kem had said, "I'm really happy for you that you got your orientation right. That's really fortunate." Yeah, I also, and again, I don't want to say too much about what I've seen that you wrote on Discord. I don't read a lot of what's on Discord, but I occasionally skim through. And I read a bit of what you wrote recently, and I'll say your vision for yourself of how you want to live, I think is beautiful. Um, and I'm glad that you're finding a way of expressing yourself that you're comfortable with. And you say, gotta have that nice voice if I want to talk guys' pants off. Yeah, you're doing great. You achieved the effect you wanted. And Ken says, nope, didn't join yet. Could you tell me where the link was posted? And Lapine says you might have to copy and paste it. Yeah, and unless I skimmed past it, I didn't see the link here. Oh shit! I know what might be happening, Lapine. And I don't know how to authorize you. It might be blocking you posting a link, and I don't know how to authorize that in live chat. But if you would be so kind, as soon as the video's over, then you'll be able to post a comment underneath the video. And even if you post a link on a comment, it will often hold it for review. What I'll do is I'll check after the video goes up. I'll go look for your comment, and I know how to authorize it if it's in the comment section underneath the video. So if you have the time and you would be so kind, Lapine. Actually, I've been on for an hour now. I'm caught up on the chat. Let's see, it's 4 hours until the party. Yeah, maybe this is a good point to wrap up. Like, not right literally this second. I'll do the thing where I'll take a minute to sit quietly and see if anyone else has a last minute comment or anything to wrap up. And if no one does, I think I'll wrap this up shortly. And if Lapine or anyone else is willing to post a Discord link, because I don't know how, I will make sure to check and authorize it so people can see the comment. Okay, and I saw someone just gave us a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And fuck yeah, okay. I'm not comfortable doing this, but I'm taking the channel more seriously now. Me and Ryan have put a lot into it. Now we've even had 3 other volunteers putting a lot into it. So even though this is against my nature, I should probably start trying to do this. We're not having a great time with the invisible force that chooses who sees what on here lately. Not all notifications get out. And it can't hurt if people can help share the videos, would be really helpful. But even just liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell. Also, all of you who've been commenting in the chat, from what I understand, the chat activity helps with the algorithm, and commenting under the video really helps. So if you're someone who appreciates the content, and even if you don't have anything to say, if you just write, "Hi guys, nice video," anything at all, that helps with the algorithm. We really appreciate likes and I think sharing the video is a great way. I think both that the algorithm recognizes when more people share videos, it promotes them more, but then also wherever you're sharing them might pick us up new viewers. So we always appreciate that kind of support. Okay, and Lapine says, "What are you on Discord?" So I can just send you the link and teach you how to make a link for people. I'm just Mercury. It's just my first name. Uh, and there's someone else called the Red Mercury Files on our Discord. I'm not sure who that is, and I don't know if I did know who that was and I forgot, or if I've never known. But I'm on Discord. I'm Mercury, like just Mercury. I'm glad you were here today. And I'm really glad you got invited to that first party and had a good enough time that you joined the community. I know you and Ryan have been talking. All right. So it looks like everybody's all commented out. I'm tired of hearing the sound of my own voice at the moment. So we'll wrap this up, and hopefully I will see some or all of you later tonight. Yeah, so on that note, goodbye for now. Blessings and lunatic love to all.